Hey, what is up YouTube? This is the Mermail Master coming at you guys from the Team Time Riders YouTube channel today. And if you're from the deep south, you're going to love this deck profile. So in today's deck profile, guys, I have the one, the only, Crystal Beasts. That's right, guys. This is not going to be just a normal Crystal Beast deck profile. This is going to be a kind of Jesse character deck profile. So as you notice, guys, I have just one extra deck monster here, the Rainbow Over Dragon. And I don't know if you guys have seen sort of other stuff that I've had to say about character decks in the past, but I kind of feel like they, them giving these decks more fusions and stuff like that is a spiritual successor to this. And ultimately, the fusions, the Rainbow Dragons, as well as the new support are exactly what Crystal Beasts really needed to move forward. This, of course, is not a final character deck version, but as you guys know, I try to go for the sort of spirit of the deck profile. So it's not going to be about what is the most accurate, because GX was a time of very, very odd card design where there was not really too much consistency, and it was sort of gone to, let's design this card with this effect, in decks like BES, and you never really see anything that has to do anything more with that. But in today's deck profile, I believe I've come across sort of a build of Crystal Beasts that really kind of highlight the Jesse aspects to them. And you can play this and be like a Jesse deck and still play that extra deck stuff, because the one thing that I found is that, using Rainbow Over Dragon and summoning him using your Trap Fusion card allows you to also be able to, have enough Crystal Beasts in your grave to special summon Rainbow Dragon itself very, very easily. So guys, without further ado, I'm going to get into this deck profile and show you guys the play. So, moving the extra deck to the end, of course, we're going to start this move out with this. 3 copies of Crystal Beast Sapphire Pegasus. And a little fact of note, guys, is that Crystal Beast, Jesse only has 1 of each of them. Of course, that's not going to make for a very consistent deck profile at all. So we have 3 Sapphire Beasts, easily the best Crystal Beast of all 7 of them. Crystal Beast Sapphire Pegasus is an 1800 attack beater, and when he comes to the field, he can put any Crystal Beast into the spell or trap card zone. And for people who don't know, Crystal Beasts, sort of when they get destroyed by battle or card effect, instead of going to the grave, you can place them in the spell and trap card zone, and you get effects based on what goes on there. And I can obviously see why a lot of people really like Crystal Beasts, because it's just such a very quirky play style. Very, very interesting, and it's the example of like Konami utilizing this mechanic and pushing it to its limits. So a lot of people don't realize you can grab these not only from your deck, but also from your hand and graveyard. That's really, really good for Crystal Beast. Now, the second best Crystal Beast, in my personal opinion, Crystal Beast Ruby Carbuncle. Ruby Carbuncle has the ability to, when it's special summoned, and this is by any method whatsoever, you can special summon as many of your Crystal Beasts in your spell and trap card zone as possible. And so that's really, really cool, and can help you out for both synchro plays, XYZ plays, link plays, or, fusion plays or things like that. As you guys know, this is a fusion sort of Jesse Anderson character deck, so there's really not too much to say besides that. Next card we got is Crystal Beast Cobalt Eagle, and we're running him at 2s. A lot of people have run him at only 1, or even taken him out of the deck entirely. Crystal Beast Cobalt Eagle has an effect that's kind of like a straight up -1. However, I've actually found this effect incredibly, incredibly useful, and I never thought that would be something I ever said. With one of the new cards, Crystal Bond, Crystal Beast Cobalt Eagle's effect to send a Crystal Beast back into your deck can actually make a dead Bond live, assuming that you're having a duel that's sort of gone on for a little while. You haven't quite been able to do that. It's easy to run out of Crystal Beasts in your deck and to make a lot of the cards that you have sort of dead. And Cobalt Eagle really helps perfectly with putting that stuff back. He's also a wind type monster as well, so really good for going for Castell plays or for Lightning Chidori or different other rank 4s if you wanted to go that route, but in a Jesse only deck, of course, guys, still an awesome card. Next, we have two copies of Crystal Beast Topaz Tiger. This is the next one that is on the same level, in my opinion, as Cobalt Eagle. Might edge it out slightly, but Topaz Tiger is really good because he's kind of like a Tech Genius Rush Rhino. Whenever he attacks in, he gains 400 attack. So he easily boosts himself from 1600 attack to 2000 attack. Very cool card, very interesting card, and definitely one I recommend. Now, guys, the final Crystal Beast monsters that we're running, the three that a lot of people don't really like to run too much, but I still think they're pretty awesome. We got Crystal Beast Amber Mammoth, Crystal Beast Emerald Tortoise, and Crystal Beast Amethyst Cat. Now, Amber Mammoth redirects attacks to himself. Emerald Tortoise can put Crystal Beast monster in defense mode once per turn, I think it is. And Amethyst Cat can have its attack power to attack directly. Three awesome cards, and that's going to round out our 7 Crystal Beasts here. Only Rainbow Dragon builds run all 7 Crystal Beasts, and these are usually the ones, along with the Eagle, that are kind of eliminated from most competitively minded Crystal Beast decks, aka ones that focus on Exceed plays and links. Now, guys, the final card is one copy of Rainbow Dragon, and I'm really excited for Rainbow Dragon because Rainbow Dragon is one of the most awesome kind of boss monsters. Awesome looking in a lot of different ways, but the problem was that Konami nerfed him so hard, and they also didn't really give him too much abilities to, to use, and he has kind of like a spit it all out at once battle kind of effect, and there's not really anything too much different that you can do with him besides just having him gain a bunch of attack. And if your opponent's got back row to stop you, that's kind of a problem. And he can't even activate his effect the turn he's special summoned to the field. But thanks to Rainbow Overdragon, who's really good, he can get your Crystal Beast to the grave, so it makes summoning the OG Rainbow Dragon so much easier, which is kind of the end goal of this deck, guys. So very cool. And not to mention that, but he can also be special summoned with the effect of, Overdragon can also be special summoned by using Rainbow Dragon as a material, so that is also very cool. So now, guys, that is done, we're going to be moving on to the spells and traps, and this is where the Crystal Beasts shine. So, starting off with our Crystal Beast trap, spell cards, we have 3 copies of Crystal Beacon, and Crystal Beacon is one of the most awesome cards and a really good play starter. If you have any two or more Crystal Beast monsters in your spell and trap card zone, you can special summon a Crystal Beast from your deck. And during GX era, that's something surprisingly tough to be able to find, so that's really good. Special summon a Sapphire Pegasus to get more things back in your back row. Special Ruby Carbuncle to special summon a whole bunch of them and go for some other plays. Able to make the plays like that. Next cards we have, guys, of course, we've got 3 Crystal Promise. Crystal Promise is almost exactly like Beacon, except it special summons from the back row, things that were destroyed instead of the deck. So if you've been stacking Carbuncles and you've been stacking other Crystal Beasts there, you could special summon those and go for a big play or a big push like that. And best of all, unlike Beacon, it doesn't need that bonus push. I will mention right now, I do not have, it's a funny thing is I do not have any of the card Rainbow Bridge, otherwise that would absolutely be in here at 3. Rainbow Bridge is an amazing card that allows you to search any card that has crystal in its name. So all of these cards that have crystal, you can search them out with Rainbow Bridge. If only Neospatian's got something similar to that, for it to be called Contact or whatever they call it, that would be incredible. Next 3 cards that we have here, guys, we have to run these, is one of the new support cards, 3 copies of Crystal Bond. Ironically, guys, I've had a very easy time finding all 3 of my copies of this card, and I've only seen maybe like 1 or 2 copies of Rainbow Bridge during the time I've been searching to sort of build the cards for this deck. But And it's especially odd because this is like the $20 to $25 one, and Rainbow Bridge is like the $2 to $3 card. Crystal Bond, you gotta run it in here because guess what? He even has Jesse on the picture, or someone who we can assume to be Jesse. But Crystal Bond is one of the greatest support cards that this deck has gotten. It allows you to add any Crystal Beast monster from your deck to your hand, and then you can take a Crystal Beast monster from your deck and place it into your spell and trap card zone. One fact about this is that both effects are mandatory. So, as I was mentioning before, with that Cobalt Eagle, if you've got only one Crystal Beast monster in your deck, shuffling back another one and activating that effect, or something that you really want to like reset to your spell and trap card zone, it's a good way to get your Crystal Beasts where you want them, when you want them, and how exactly you want them. Such an amazing card, guys, and you absolutely have to run this card at no number less than 3. Next card we have in our deck here is a Jesse original. We've got Crystal Release. It's an equipped spell card. Boosts the attack of a monster by 800 points. And when it goes to the grave, you can set any Crystal Beast card in your spell or trap card zone from your deck. And this one, unlike Pegasus, is from your deck only, but it's still a really, really good card, and they can stack as well. Now, one of my personal favorites, and a tough card to use, but a very, very good one, if you can get it off, is 3 copies of Crystal Tree. You have to bump this up to 3 now, since the search cards and stuff like that are around. I might bump this to probably 2 when the Crystal Search card comes out, but Tree is so amazing because every time a Crystal Beast is sent to your spell and trap card zone, it gets a counter, and then you contribute it and put exactly the number of Crystal Beast monsters as counters on this card into your spell and trap card zone. The biggest issue, of course, that you guys got to watch out for is the utilizing too many of those effects and getting too many counters on Crystal Tree, so you can't really use it. But this is a great way to get Crystal Beast out of your deck. Go for a big, big push with Crystal Beacon or your other Crystal Promise special summon effects. Really, really, really good card. Got to run that thing. Next card we got in here, guys, is 2 copies of Crystal Blessing. Crystal Blessing is for fetching Crystal Beast monsters back from your graveyard and placing them inside the spell and trap card zone. This is also a good way to get your Crystal Tree up and going, get your Crystal Beast monsters out of your deck. Another thing, of course, that Cobalt Eagle helps with in terms of recycling. Now, guys, coming into some of the cooler cards that we have in this deck, we've got 2 copies of the one and only Crystal Abundance, one of the greatest board wipe cards, I think, ever created in the GX era. And Crystal Abundance is basically just one of the first cards, besides for Cyber Eltonin during that era, that said send to the graveyard instead of destroy. You have 4 more Crystal Beasts in your spell and trap card zone. You send them all to the graveyard. Send everything else your opponent controls and you control to the graveyard. So everything goes to the grave, and then special summon Crystal Beast monsters up to and equal to the number of cards that your opponent controlled at the time you destroyed the card. Very, very, very good card. And since it sends and it doesn't destroy, your opponent will be hard pressed to stop this without a hard counter. So that is one of the most awesome cards and a game ender in its own right. Next, of course, guys, we got that Ancient City Rainbow Ruins. I'm thinking about bumping this number up even more. But Ancient City Rainbow Ruins is just awesome for getting your Crystal Beast monsters up to, based on the number of cards you have in there. He either can't be destroyed, give him some benefits, allow you to pop spell and traps, and, of course, allowing you to, when you get 4 Crystal Beasts in your back row, you can draw an extra card per turn, and then 5 Crystal Beasts, you can special summon them all. It's always important to have Rainbow Ruins because one of the big issues of Crystal Beasts is they can clog your back row, and that can make it tough to activate your spells and traps when you need it, but it's still a very, very good card. Now, I think you guys will notice that I do not have the Pendulum monsters in here, even though those kind of look like Jesse monsters, and it's not actually because they are the Pendulums, but it's just sort of because the deck has sort of evolved past needing those pendulum monsters anyway, so there's no real reason to put them in here. Last card we're running, guys, is Monster Reborn. As I mentioned, Carbuncle and Pegasus can get you massive pluses when they're brought back from anywhere, when they're special summoned from anywhere. It's a nice little Monster Reborn. Will do some very, very good. And I also was able to pick up an SDK first edition, guys. You can see right there. So, cool card like that. Now, coming into some of the trap cards, and this is where kind of the Jesse character deck plays its part. For starters, guys, we've got 2 copies of Last Resort. Basically, it's the metaverse for your Ancient City Rainbow Ruins. Jesse ran this card against Jaden on the first duel that they had to get his Ancient City Rainbow Ruins out. And it's strictly worse because if your opponent's got a field spell on the field, they get to draw a card. So that is very unfortunate if that ends up being the case, but still a very good card that harkens back to Jesse's character days. And honestly, one of the coolest arts that I think we've seen on a Yu-Gi-Oh card to date. A lot of people don't really mention that, but if we zoom in right there, it's just the lawn chair on the moon or whatever, taking a look at the Earth. Very cool. Now, one of the brand new cards that got released is we got that Crystal Conclave. This is honestly one of my favorite cards. A lot of Crystal Beast players have taken this out of the deck. I cannot see why. It is so awesome. Just basically has such a good effect. And it's sort of that if a Crystal Beast monster is destroyed by any way, by battle or card effect, you special summon any other Crystal Beast monster from your deck, and of course you got the one that goes back there to your back row, and like once it goes to the back row, like that's an extra plus for you. And if you special a Ruby Carbuncle out of your deck, you can easily fetch that. And then the other thing that I really like about this card is its ability to attribute itself to send a Crystal Beast basically to the graveyard, or to target a Crystal Beast that you control and any other card on the field and return them to the hand. So it's kind of a Kieran effect. And I believe this card appeared in the anime, so you get extra Jesse points from there. Speaking of cards that appeared in the anime, we have 1 copy of Crystal Counter. Largely considered one of the worst Crystal Beast support cards, but I really like it. It basically allows you to get your zones up for abundance, and many people consider it to be too slow as a trap card. I personally do like Crystal Counter. I was lucky to be able to find someone who had one of these for trades because they are quite rare to find. But once you do have Crystal Counter, you can bring your back row up to snuff, and then get your plays going from there. And the final play that I have here is 1 copy of Ultimate Crystal Magic, the trap fusion for the Crystal Beast. Only running 1 in here, and not 3. 3, I believe, clogs like crazy because of its very specific activation requirements. A Crystal Beast monster must be destroyed by battle. Then you can send Crystal Beast monsters from your hand, field, and graveyard as well, or hand, field, and deck to the graveyard, and special summon a Rainbow Overdragon. But they must be 7 different names, so you have to be very careful in the beginning to make sure that you have that none of your really good, or none of your like one of Crystal Beasts go to the graveyard, because otherwise that will prevent you from even activating or attempting to activate Ultimate Crystal Magic on the field. And that is unfortunate, guys, but it is one of the things that you have to think about. But that Ultimate Rainbow Overdragon is really good for helping to keep the tempo on your game. It can shuffle everything back into the deck as a quick effect. Its effect is not held back for a single turn, and allows you to banish Crystal Beast monsters to gain attack instead of just banishing all of them from your graveyard and being unable to use them from that point out. But guys, that is going to be my Jesse Anderson Crystal Beast deck profile. I really hope you enjoyed watching the video, and if you did, please remember to give a like and a comment and subscribe. Even if you didn't enjoy it, just let me know what you guys thought in the comments section below. And with that, guys, this has been the Mermail Master with the Team Time Riders YouTube channel. and I'm signing out. Catch you guys next time. Peace.